To the Life in Transitions Experts podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Rollins, here with another piece of content that hopefully will be helpful to you. I specialize in property and stuff and helping people come up with solutions for their property. Quite often, I'm working with folks who are either in distress or the property's in distress. And just the last couple of years or the last year, I've really dug into the niche of estate administration, estate work, particularly with probate and helping people who are navigating the probate process and hopefully spreading the word to help people avoid the probate process. Quite often, there's property involved in the states, and people need some type of solution for that, whether it's cash sale quickly, or perhaps it's a they need to find a way to keep the property, or perhaps they even want to list it traditionally and rent it out, or list it traditionally and get top market dollar, whatever it is. I try to help provide as many options and solutions for them. As a cash buyer, one of the things that I come across often are people, that haven't done a transaction before, particularly with a cash buyer. And so today we're looking at 8 questions everyone should ask a cash buyer. You should ask a cash buyer. So let's do that. Just going to add that to the stage. So boom, here we go. 8 questions everyone should ask a cash buyer. And number one, ask them, are they running a legit business and do they have an online presence? If they don't have an online presence or a website, does that mean they're not legit? No, there are still folks out there who are just haven't taken the time to put up a website or have an online presence. With those, I definitely suggest that you at least ask some of the other questions that are coming after this, or do some really good research to find out if this is a person that you can trust. But in this day and age, almost everyone has some type of online presence, and you can check the business. You can ask for their LLC. If they have an LLC, you can check what entity they're in. Now, if you are someone who is interested in doing this work that I'm doing and you don't have a LLC, you don't have a legit business, don't let that stop you from having conversations and trying to serve people who have challenges and problems and all. Um, Eventually, you will need some type of online presence to show your legitimacy, but you can always partner up with folks and more experienced folks to help serve that person. And that's the thing. How long have you been buying homes for cash? Experience is an indication quite often of future performance. Past performance can be an indication of future performance quite often. And again, I will say this, that there are people, someone has to start off. So if you are new and you want to be a cash buyer, do not be discouraged. There's tons of great cash buyers that you can work with, support, and leverage their experience to make sure that you do what you are supposed to do so that you can take care of what you're supposed to take care of when it comes to making an offer and following through on your offer to purchase the property for cash. But experience that is important. Either they have it or they're leveraging someone else's. And you can ask for references, testimonials from previous clients. And again, if you don't have testimonials, then character references. Character does matter. So there may be other spaces or places that that person can show that demonstrate that. But most legit cash buyers will have that online presence, and they we take our Google reviews very seriously. So seeing if they have Google reviews and seeing if they have reviews or testimonials, video or written testimonials, is a great opportunity for you to see. They could even provide references, people that they've worked with before. Yep. Number four, ask them, how do you determine the offer? We pull the curtain back, and I like to be as transparent as possible. What Todd Toback from No Limit Sales says, hit them in the mouth with honesty. I don't hit anyone, but really, if someone asks me, or quite often before they even ask me, I'll let them know how I'm determining what the price is. I am a business. My business, I have to serve to be able to get compensation, but I have to make sure there's some compensation in there. There has to be margin. There has to be ability for me to make money, and I'm not ashamed of that at all. And so I'll explain, this is the margin I'm expecting to receive. This is why we are this purchasing it or making this offer. For us, we base it on really 3 things: the condition of the property, the current market value of property selling in the area, and the seller's situation, to see how we may be able to support or help or create an offer that is works for everyone. Number 5, Ask them about the timeline, particularly when you're looking at the purchase agreement. Make sure that there is a specific timeline that the transaction is supposed to be closed. If there's an inspection period, make sure it's not super long. If it's yeah, so you just need to make sure they have a specific or legit time so that you're not stuck in a contract that for forever. All right. And ask will they cover all the closing costs and fees? Most, I'd say about 99.9% of your transactions with the cash buyer, they're going to pay all the closing costs and fees. They're usually getting this property at a discounted price because of the convenience and speed that they're offering. And one of those conveniences that they're offering is paying the closing costs and the fees. A legit cash buyer should have no problem with that. Now, there are times where a seller or a buyer may negotiate and decide to split or things of that nature, but it doesn't hurt to ask. And again, that should almost be standard for a cash buyer. And number 7, make sure that you check to see if there's any contingencies with their offer. Quite often, as an investor, even as when I'm wholesaling a property, I'm putting a lot of offers out, and so in between the time of the inspection, that's when I have a legit right to market the property based on my purchase agreement, and that's what I'm going to share with my other investors, my cash buyers that I've worked with and connected with and trusted over have built a relationship with over the years. And so there needs to be a time period where there can be an inspection. And again, this inspection doesn't mean that they're going to come back and say, hey, you have to do this, you have to fix that, because they are buying it as is, but they need to know what they're buying. And so there usually will be an inspection period, but make sure it's not super long, 20 days, 30 days. Now, if it's land, now land may take up to 120 to even more days for a feasibility study because there's more involved perk test and other things that are involved to make sure that you actually have a viable property piece of land there. Houses shouldn't have a 120-day inspection period. If anything, we sometimes put 10 business days, 7 business days. It really depends on the nature of the property and how fast I can get my other partners out there and inspectors out there to take a look at the property, make sure we know what we're buying, but make sure they're that you know all the contingencies. Did they put an earnest money deposit down? Has it been deposited to the title company or closing attorney or escrow company that's actually doing the closing? These are questions you want to make sure that you ask and that you I highly recommend you check in with a closing attorney because they are real estate attorneys and they can look and set up contract or a purchase agreement and show you some of the areas where there might be some loopholes that leave you unprotected. And can they provide proof of funds? Now, I did put this up here, but I think it's nowadays I'm just transparent. You could get I could, if I wanted to get a proof of funds, I could go online right now, and there's actually companies that provide and offer proof of funds. Now, the thing is, with uh, a wholesaler or a person who does this for a living, and if they have a huge pool of buyers, and your property is um, under contract at the right price, then really their funds are really unlimited. And but some people do want to see proof of funds to make just to feel a little stronger and safer. So I want to include that in there. But I just be quite honest, this is probably not as important because again, you could easily find proof of funds anywhere online nowadays, and really the property, if the seller's worth their weight or if the buyer's worth their weight, if even if they're a wholesaler, they're almost like unlimited proof of funds because if the property's under contract at the right price, then the money is there. At State Pro Service, we try our heart, head, and hands-on approach to the process of helping people come up with solutions for their property. And if you have any questions, or if you have a property that you're interested in selling quickly, or if you just want to see what options there are available, we'd love to provide our consultation free of charge and perhaps put in an offer for you. Perhaps we're the buyers. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a financial advisor. I do like to say that each time. I don't play one on my YouTube channel at all. I'm just learning, growing, and as I learn and I grow, I like to share it with folks because this is fun. This thing called life. All right, that's it for me for now. So, 8 questions to ask every cash buyer. This is the Life and Transitions Experts podcast. you let your light shine. Cheers.